person who likes to change the game. Like I want to change the game. Well, I was born and raised in Pakistan, Karachi. Obviously, going back home, always had a dream about coming to US and get further education in computer science because that's what my field was. And I came here at the age of 17. That was a struggle to come here without knowing people and make your life out here. Was going to school, and then got a job at a restaurant as a dishwasher, as a part-time job. Just wanted to go to school and work and pay for school and all that. And then at one point I was working at a restaurant and I happened to work with like some big name chefs, and that was my inspiration, and that got me going that this is what I want to do for my life, and that's what I choose. I still went to school, got my bachelor's in computer science, but the restaurant, I think that was in my DNA. In my 21 year of career, that I've always worked with Indian food, right? And the goal was to like bring Indian food to the mainstream food. And that was my first job, being at an Indian restaurant at a mom and pop shop, and then grew from there. And there was always a thought that how come Indian food cannot be like plated or look better, So that was the whole idea back into the days. And then obviously being from Pakistan, I am connected with a lot of, industry people, and the challenge was like, okay, you always bring us to Indian restaurant. We want to go to Pakistani restaurant. So there was nothing like that, like in high-end food. And then my background was in Indian cooking. It's similar cooking in Pakistan, and I grew up eating from both sides. So the concept behind was, that's why we call ourselves like Desi Craft Kitchen. We're not just Indian, we're not just Pakistani, we're not just Afghani. Because when you go to a restaurant, they specify themselves, okay, X name with Indian food, or this name with Pakistani food, or this name with Afghani food. The food is similar, so why not combine everything and bring the best out of street food from all the subcontinent and just put it under one roof? So that was the concept behind it, because I didn't want to like separate people. Like I want everybody to come into one room and have their street, like their childhood memories that they grew up with. I would definitely recommend trying kebabs and then butter chicken, because that's the staple dish that everybody kind of like remembers. And butter chicken is a dish which is like it's not that spicy. So for someone new that are not used to like spicy or food with a lot of spices, I think butter chicken and the kebabs would be like go-to dish for the beginners. And then you can get into like niharis and biryanis and karhais, because those are more like spicy and more flavorful dish, but you gotta get used to it before you even get into it. I wanted to make an experience where people can have fun eating food. We go to a restaurant and the plate is brought in front of you, and all we're doing using our fork and knife and eating it. That's eating food. There's no experience, there's no fun, So the reason behind that Pani Puri shots, it's just like, okay, how do we make it exciting for people? Like I want people to get excited about it, So it's fun time, and then when people come who are like newcomers, they don't know how to eat it. So it's fun to tell them that, okay, this is a shot made with tamarind and water, and the pastry is stuffed with garbanzo and potatoes. Pour the water into there, and just one bite, and you will have explosion of the spices in your mouth. So it's fun. There's a way to talk to people, to communicate with people. So I think that was the idea behind it. It took us about a year to build this restaurant, right? So me and Iqbal, my partner, we were like thinking about it. How do we like be different from other people? And obviously being a halal restaurant, alcohol doesn't go that way, right? So halal or alcohol, they cannot go together. So we were like in the thoughts of like, what do we do? And I was like, how don't we come up with an idea of a mocktail bar, but we're not gonna call it mocktail. We'll still call it cocktail, but without alcohol. So we studied on it, and then, trying to work on it and like see what can we do. And then I used to go to a lot of food events before pandemic. And that's where I met this company called Seedlip, and they are specialized in like non-alcoholic spirits. It's like substitute of vodka, substitutes of whiskey and all that. So that was the idea behind it. And then I was like, if this company is doing that, then there must be something bigger behind it. And then I started to like do research on it, and then I was able to find some products which we import from like Australia, New Zealand, Europe. There are beers available there, zero point 0.0, and they're pretty good. So that was like, I was like, then why don't we just build a bar and do a whole new concept of non-alcoholic bar and see if it works. So we started doing that. Initially, I have a background in bar business as well. I'm a mixologist as well. So I was like, I'll come up with the drink program. So I came up with this and trained everyone. And then suddenly, like, our program became so huge that I brought in an actual mixologist to work on the bar program to take it to a different level. So that was the concept behind it. And then we didn't know that non-alcoholic bar program is so big that we were the first bar in California and fourth in the nation that has like non-alcoholic drinks, like zero alcohol in the bar. So it was a huge, success on that. So people actually come here for our drinks, and we do like cool presentation, like so we have smoked Negroni that we smoke, and we have this bubble gum, gun that we do that. So it's fun as well,
Yeah.
Our most famous, like, or popular drink that you can call, it's called Dirty Sprite. So it's with Sprite, with, lava black salt and Seedlip 94 and mint and sugar and all that. And it's like one of our most popular drink. So obviously I'm a meat eater,
Yeah.
right? Steak is like, if you're a meat eater, you want to eat steaks, right? I knew this guy back in Santa Monica, and he's a good friend of mine. He's a chef, and he's a steak chef. So I was talking to him about the concept, and I was like, I want to put like a couple steaks on the menu, and like, what can you do? And he was like, let me call my vendors and find out if there's like halal wagyu. And I was like, are you like serious, like halal wagyu? He's like, yeah, let me call them. So we called, the guy came here, we talked, and he was like, okay, I can produce you some halal wagyu. And then, I was like, sure, let's do it. And obviously, like, when we got the products and then we were looking into it, the price point of it, and then, people who were associated, they were against the idea of it because they're really expensive, nobody wants to buy it. And I was like, well, it's up to us how we explain that. It's on the server, like, how do they tell them that why that tomahawk is $150 because of the quality of the meat, So then everybody was like trying to get into it, and then we kind of became popular about a restaurant that sells $150 halal steak. And that's our most selling steak. Like, people actually come here for that. So that was the concept behind it, that gives something that people never had it, or they cannot even think about that we can even get that. So I want to bring that to the people, that there are things available. It's just like somebody needs to work on it and make it available. Nowadays, we have to think about how I'm going to plate my food before even we create a dish, because everybody wants to post it online. So we think about, okay, how the food is going to look, how are we going to present it, and then think about the profile of like how would it actually be executed or how it will taste. So, the thought process has been changed from last 5-6 years.
So you opened the restaurant in February of 2020.
Yes, right before pandemic.
How was that?
Well, in the beginning, at that time, there were rumors that there is coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
So obviously nobody was taking it serious, or, nothing major. And then we opened, and, things were fine. People were coming in. When you open up a new restaurant, things, go with the soft open and then opening and then grand opening. So we were on that path. And then out of nowhere, March 15th, it was announced that we are in pandemic, and all the restaurants has to shut down, businesses has to shut down. And at that time, we were a brand new restaurant, 22 days old. So we were like, okay, what do? We were not set up for takeout or anything. So we had no other option, just shut down the restaurant. So we shut down our restaurant for about, I would say, a month and a half. And then at that time, we were like trying to figure it out, what to do with it, and like how to make things happen. Because obviously, you invest a lot of money, and then you have to shut it down and not knowing what's going to happen. But, things work out. We stayed positive. We had to keep our team positive, that no matter what, we will make it happen. So just hang in there. And then I didn't let my staff go. I kept everyone on the payroll just to because it's the hard time. If we don't support each other, that's not going to work. So I was like, no, everybody stay here. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. And, then we decided to do, because obviously when you open, you have a lot of groceries here. So we decided to do community service as well. So every Friday we decided to like make food and then put it out there and like have people come by, drive by and take food because people were going through a lot of stuff, especially people who live paycheck to paycheck. So obviously it was a struggle for them because there was no job. So we decided to do community service. We were giving away free foods and then we were working with the frontliners. We were taking food to the hospital and we were taking food to the schools, you know, like helping as much as we could. And I think that kept us going. And then things were like getting better. Okay, you know, we were ready for our takeout business, which is not a huge thing, but at least it was something. So we did that, and then they were allowed to open, you know, outdoor seating. So we were doing the outdoor, and you know, back and forth the way it was going. So you know, I would say like we've been blessed that we're still in business and we made it through pandemic. So I was made for restaurants. It's a challenging job, you know. I mean, it's not easy. You know, people come and they'll be like, oh, I want to open up a restaurant. I want to do this, and I'll tell them like, come spend a week with me, and then think about it if you still want to do it because you're married to your business. You know, you're here 24/7. So if you have the passion for it, do it. If you're doing just for the money, don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, so money comes with passion.